Hey everyone, it's Tiffany Cosplay here, just with a really quick time-lapse video today of how I made my Darkhold from WandaVision. And this is it here. Just that one there. So it's just a really quick time-lapse. It was a very quick and rushed build. So it kind of hovers. So yeah, just a super quick time lapse. If anyone has any questions, as always, let me know in the comments below and hopefully it helps someone. Okay, so the first thing I did was I googled some pages to put in the book and I printed out the patterns for the book, which I got from Zolus Props. So I'll post a link down for that below. Then it was just a case of cutting out all the pattern pieces. As you can see here, just checking the size. I did make the spine a little bit narrower as I was doing something slightly different with my book, but these patterns are amazing, so I highly recommend you check those ones out. So just still cutting out everything. The front cover's in 3 pieces to kind of layer it up, which you will see soon. Then I just had to transfer all of those paper patterns to my foam. I think I was using probably about 5mm thick EVA foam. So I just tried to utilize the least amount of foam as I can, so that's why it's not in really any particular order. That's the back of the book. Now I'm cutting all of the pieces out. You could use a cutting knife for that as well, which is probably a little bit easier than what I'm doing with the scissors here. So now I'm just checking the fit. So with the front cover, the pieces do layer up. So you just need a little bit of glue on the edges and then they will sort of fold around a little bit, but it adds to the look. So that's just the spine. Now I'm just drawing the spine patterns on there. You can put whatever you like on the spine. I just went with what was on the paper pattern. So now I'm gluing down the front cover. Putting a bit more glue for the top piece. While that dries, I was just cutting out more pieces. Popping the last of the front cover piece down. So as you can see, it's stacked up there. So that's the back cover, the spine, and the front cover, and I'm just now cutting out the other pieces. Now you can Dremel the edges, but I like to use the scissors for this one at the moment. Just adding the bottom pieces. So here I'm just actually cutting off the edges. So yeah, you can do the Dremel here, but I just wanted it to be a little bit rougher than a Dremel and a little bit quicker and cleaner. The strips that you can see I'm gluing down here are just random pieces of foam cut out, I think probably about 2mm. And I've just been gluing all of that down with contact cement. So you probably actually could use hot glue here, especially given it is foam. And then I was using some 3D paint to put some more details on the top. And then back to gluing more of the, I don't even know what they are, just they're foam pieces for now. Gluing on the other details. Again, I've used contact cement. More 3D printing details. And I made that border quite rough, so it looked a bit more welded. Now these are the little knobbly bits that just go along the edge. And here I'm just cutting out little pieces of the runes, putting a bit of Dremel on. So basically where I've cut holes, the lights that I'll be adding later will shine through. Gluing all the pieces down. This is foam clay. I actually just got this from like a $2 shop. And now I'm adding the little zigzags, a little bit more detail. So it's just adding dimension to the book. Here's all the pages that I've printed off. Now I've hole punched the sides and I'm binding it just with like a twine. And here are the LEDs. These are just fairy lights that you can buy from most cheap shops, but I've cut the chunky battery pack and I've put a much slimmer battery pack on there, and I'm just soldering those wires together, and then I'm putting a bit of silver tape just to protect that join. So that's the Plastizote foam, that's translucent. And I'm just gluing down the lights in a rough kind of area here. So that's me popping the lights through the holes in the spine, and this is how I'm attaching the front and back covers. So for the book pages, I did print them out in roughly A4 and they were quite a bit too big, so I've just ripped the edges. And here I'm just sticking down the spine. So that's just a piece of non-stretch fabric to help hold the book together. It is a little bit wobbly. All the pages I've glued together, but some I did leave unglued because I'll be putting LEDs in them, as you can see here. So that's just gluing it down. I just picked a couple of pages and then the rest are just glued together back to back. And then the leftover LEDs I'm just putting around the front to give it a bit of light behind the front cover. This is just fishing wire, which is just glued onto each side and you just hold onto it. That is to make it float when I walk around with it, as you can see here. So in some photos you'll be able to see the fishing wire as it is glossy, but on the whole it works out really, really well. Now I was just templating the back piece. I just had a look at some of the pictures of the Darkhold online and just drew a rough guesstimate to how it looked, and then I'm transferring that to packing tape so I can stick that directly onto more foam pieces as such, and then I just cut it out. So a little bit of adjustment from cutting out directly from the tape, just checking the placement of them all. These ones are also about 5mm thick, so they're the same thickness as the depth of the book. Just adding a bit of battle damage with the Dremel here. And now I'm just gluing those 4 pieces down. Again, I'm using contact cement, but you could absolutely use hot glue. And this is just the center circle in the middle, which again, I'm cutting off the sharp edge to make it a little bit more rounded. And back to the 3D paint, adding more squiggles, and now just making it look a bit ganky, basically. This can be rough, messy, no structure to it. Just go with what you think looks right for your book. And here we are priming it. So I'm priming mine with Flex Bond, and I think I did about 2 or 3 coats, and I did not dilute the Flex Bond, but you can actually dilute it with water if you want it to spread a little bit more. You just might need an extra couple of coats. Once it was dry, I've painted a base black coat. And then also the pages, because they were printed on normal paper, I'm just weathering the edges with black paint so they don't look so stark and white, and it just makes it look a bit more burnt and crispy. And then the back around the lights I'm painting black. I've left the edges for now because they get painted like a flame kind of color. Now this is like a metallic goldy black, which I'm just painting over with a much coarser brush. So in certain lights, as you can see here, you can see that sort of weird golden metal-y tinge. And that's how it looks painted up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was of some help for some of you if you guys make your own Darkhold. As mentioned in the video, I'll post the links to where I got the templates from, and I'll pop down a couple of videos that also inspired this build for me, whose videos are probably much more in depth than mine, so be sure to check them out. Give those guys a subscription as well and a follow. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.